We're talking about bad broker behavior now. We're talking about things that brokers do to go out of their way to defeat the interests of the client. Things that we've seen. Some of these things are very common, some not so common. One of the things that is unfortunately somewhat common is what we call bad applications or trash talking. By that we mean a broker who is in competition with other brokers. Most clients are aware of the scenario that you assign insurance companies to particular brokers. Since each insurance company will only work with one broker, you want to control the process. So broker A gets 3 insurance companies, broker B gets 3 insurance companies. They're named and they shouldn't cross over. Bad broker behavior we've seen is where a broker will intentionally send applications to insurance companies that were not assigned to that broker but were assigned to other brokers. And the intention is to defeat the other broker and defeat, obviously, the client's interest in obtaining alternate quotes. One thing the broker could do, the bad broker could do, is send in an application that represents the account negatively. We've seen this happen at times. So, for example, the application might contain a description of operations to make it sound like the business is more hazardous than the underwriter was led to believe originally. They can add in some side operations which might be very small but might be more concerning to the underwriter. They can throw in information about losses. It can be incomplete information. So in addition to the loss runs, they might throw in a little description of the loss that makes it sound like, wow, this is a pretty scary exposure. They can throw in motor vehicle records. If it's an automobile application, they can throw in motor vehicle records that are bad, that maybe have drunk driving citations and et cetera. And they might not even be drivers that are any longer driving for the company. But this effort at sending in an application to really frustrate the client's interests is fairly rare. But what is not rare is what we think is effectively the same thing as what we call trash talking. Most underwriters go out to visit brokers' offices, and even if they don't, they're on the phone all the time with brokers that they work with. And so the opportunity arises where a broker may be competing with ABC Insurance Company. The broker normally does a lot of work with ABC Insurance Company, but in this particular circumstance, another broker was assigned ABC Insurance Company to bid. The broker may be talking to the underwriter at ABC and talking about other accounts, and then suddenly just casually throw out, well, gee, I realize that you're working with the broker down the street and you're competing with me on this account. Yeah, that's true. Well, make sure you watch out because, and then the broker goes on to explain the negative operations or the loss history that he wants to emphasize as poor, or that they've had a problem with drunk drivers in the past, or something that he can frame the account as negative. And if the broker does not convince the underwriter that it's a negative account, he can defeat the credibility of the other broker. He can try to create doubt in the mind of the underwriter that the other broker is telling the full story about the account, is revealing all of the potential hazards. And this is fairly common, and it's a real temptation because, as I said, brokers are talking to underwriters all the time, and so they have opportunity to do this. Obviously, very unethical and truly something that if a client could find out about it, they would fire their broker.